Words of inspiration tonight, coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 41, starting verse 39, and we'll see just how far we will get. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Now, we talked several weeks ago about all the stuff that Joseph is going through. And now look what has happened. Remember, Joseph is a Hebrew. Pharaoh is an Egyptian. Joseph has a different God than Pharaoh. Joseph worships in a different way than Pharaoh. Joseph is a slave prisoner. When we're reading in the scriptures right now, Joseph's position in life is as a slave prisoner. Pharaoh is the leader of the country. Now, I'm just going to try to put this in context. Okay? I'm just going to try to put this in some terms that makes it a little bit more relevant, that bring it up to today's speed. Joseph being a foreigner, a foreign prisoner, that'd be like if he was today, that would be like some foreign illegal immigrant prisoner standing up in front of President Obama and telling President Obama about some foreign god. But look what's happened. Even though we have this Hebrew slave prisoner conversing with Pharaoh, the ruler over the whole Egyptian empire, who himself is considered to be a god on earth, we have Pharaoh now recognizing, acknowledging the power of the God that Joseph worships. You see, because Pharaoh says, we just read it, Pharaoh says, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Look, that's saying a mouthful, because we read that Pharaoh had consulted with his priests. Pharaoh had consulted with his magicians. Pharaoh had consulted with all the wise people in Egypt to tell him what his dreams meant. And none of them were wise enough to do that. But now here it is, this Hebrew slave prisoner is able to interpret the dreams of Pharaoh, and he is able to interpret the dreams of Pharaoh because he has been blessed by his God. See, look how God has used Joseph. So now here it is, this Hebrew slave prisoner being used by God to convert Pharaoh, to give Pharaoh some understanding about just how mighty God is. All right. All the trials and tribulations that Joseph went through, being turned on by his brothers, being thrown in the pit, having his coat of many colors stolen from him, being falsely accused of a crime. All that he went through, God was shaping him, molding him, putting him in a position to do the work that God had prepared for him to do. God has work prepared for you. God has work prepared for me. Everything that we're going through is molding us, shaping us, preparing us to put us in a position that God has planned for us. And as we wrap up tonight, you know, sometimes the going gets tough. Sometimes there are some trials and tribulations that we have to go through. Sometimes we have to walk through that valley of the shadow of death. But even as we take that walk, one of the things that I'm here to tell you is that God can grant you peace. And that's my prayer as I close, that no matter whatever it is that God has planned for you in this upcoming week, no matter whatever it is that He has planned, that God blesses you and yours with peace.